Interview, Edison Hawkins, acting class, done by Frank Addamo.
Hello everyone, my name is Edison Hawkins. I'm a freshman at Hartwick College. My intended majors are business and computer science. I came here from Chicago and I play for the men's soccer team.
What do you do when you're not playing soccer?
What do I do when I'm not playing soccer? Well, a couple things I like to do. I like to play FIFA, big on that, but all comes down to academics first overall. I'm big in the books, big in the classroom. I'm all about the grit, I keep up. And I also like to play with Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I think Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty fun. And that's about it.
Do you like school?
Not really. School's a grind, it kind of sucks, but in the end, I like the people that are at this school, but just not the academics part. Because if you could just have the fun without the work, then everyone would want to come here.
Why don't you like schoolwork?
I'm not a fan of schoolwork because I think it adds unneeded stress, and schoolwork also adds a little false sense of knowledge, because why just work your ass off to earn the points you need when you could actually retain knowledge by learning it a different way instead of just having to only focus on getting homework points.
When was the first time you ever had a hot dog?
The first time I had a hot dog, I was probably about 6 years old in Portillo's in Chicago.
When did you experience your true happiness?
I can't recall the earliest time I experienced true happiness, but I will say one time I experienced true happiness was when I found out I got into here, because this is a place I wanted to go to, and I learned I could play soccer here, and my dad went here, and it made me pretty happy to know that I could come play here and be in such a cool town and be close to all my family.
Did you ever experience something that you never wanted to?
I have experienced things I never wanted to. A couple things. One of the biggest things I experienced that I didn't want to was probably a breakup I had with a girlfriend about 7 months in. It was pretty bad. Got toxic. Not a good route, and it just kind of had me in the dumps for like a week or two, but no one wants to go through that, but everything has to come to an end.
What did you ever know about your family that you never knew?
Well, I learned that my uncle's wife is my uncle's wife's dad came up with the recipe for frozen French fries. And this recipe made them a lot of money, and on my mom's side of the family is basically all about potato farms, and potatoes make the world go round.
Would you ever have your own potato farm?
Now that I think about it, I think I would, but the cool thing about worrying about how to start a potato farm is that potato farms also have something to do about business. You got to worry about the irrigation, marketing of your farm. And I think it'd be pretty cool. I'd like to work with my uncle on his potato farms. Learn all about the ecosystem and how that revolutionizes, the new irrigation systems of potato farms. And I'd be pretty interested in trying to take over the industry, but it may be a little complicated. And it has not been in my view for some time now, except just tonight when Mr. Addamo has brought it up.
When was the first moment that you had with a soccer ball?
The first moment I had with a soccer ball was when I was 4 years old, and I won a soccer ball at a machine at Chuck E. Cheese, and I started kicking it around the whole gaming area, and I lost it, and my dad was mad, but it was also funny. And then I started playing soccer after that.
Did you ever notice how things are similar between you and your dad?
I never really noticed it that much, but a lot of people have started to bring it up. You know, people say we look alike. Same squinty eyes, same nose, and both played soccer. Both have good taste in music, and it's really not a thing that I self was aware of. But however, other people took note of it, and like now I've just started to learn more and more the past 2 years about it. So, yeah.
What was your first awkward moment you ever had?
Oh, I would say that my first awkward moment was when I was in a soccer tournament in 6th grade, and we were all playing around in the pool and stuff, running around the lobby. It was time to go to bed, and I realized that I had to use the bathroom really bad. And it was to the point where when we were all like dispersing from the little gaming area they had, I was running up to my room, clenching my knees together, and right as I get to my room, boom, I pissed my pants. And then my mom just laughed at me, and it was so awkward when she opened the door. And now I learned to never hold it too long.
How did you know you started to get close to your first friend?
I learned that I started to get close to my first friend when we both had the same love for soccer. My first really good friend was in elementary school. He came in 3rd grade and he left 5th grade. He moved from England and he moved back to England. And we both had a pretty good love for soccer, and we had a lot of things in common, like video games, girls, stuff like that. And it was kind of cool, like making those connections to people who are like really different than you. And yeah.
When did you start driving and why?
I didn't start driving as soon as I turned 16. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I also forgot to bring paperwork to the DMV when I tried to go earlier, so yeah. And I actually started driving the late fall of my junior year, and I personally enjoy driving because it allows you to connect with people that maybe you do not have the chance to connect to without a car. And I prefer it as mode of transportation because I like to drive my car around at night and just bump music whenever I'm stressed out. And I also just love the thrill of going down the highway 10, 20, 30 over.
How did you learn to ride a bike?
I learned how to ride a bike from my mom. And she started me out on tricycles, of course, where everyone starts. And then she started to slowly begin to push me from the back. And as I started riding, and I still remember when I was riding my bike, it was an uphill, which made it so much harder because my street's on a hill, but she was able to teach me how to ride a bike through that. And I kind of wiped out in the street a couple times, but it was funny because I laughed, and so did she. So yeah.
How did you meet your first girlfriend?
I met my first girlfriend through a friend on my club soccer team. And he was friends with this girl, and I hung out with him, and she hung out with us a couple times. And then after those times, we started talking, and we realized we had like a pretty decent amount in common, and we kind of just started rocking with each other. And then that's how it was. I think it was in like 7th grade, and relationships aren't even that serious, but that was my first girlfriend. Lasted probably a solid month.
What's your favorite high school memory?
Oh gosh. I would say I would. It's only 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. I would say that my favorite high school memory was when we went to go see the variety show senior year, and it was fun because we had a senior section, and we found out that this junior won, and we started booing the crap out of him, and we were just chirping all the people that were going up there, and we were only rooting for the seniors, and it just showed a lot of fun because we were cheering on these guys and these crazy like beauty pageant like acts, and it was called Mr. Hinsdale. It was a pageant, and it was just so much fun because we were all like rooting for the guys that we all grew up with, and it was pretty golden.
So a beauty pageant.
Yes, it was a beauty. It was like a beauty pageant, but it was like a variety show as well, and it was like to raise money, and guys would do like a lip sync, a dance, a hidden talent. They would answer questions, stuff like that.
Why did you learn? What did you learn from your sisters?
What I learned about my sisters was I learned a lot about sensitivity, and my sisters really taught me how to talk to girls because they had boyfriends, and you know, I would always get relationship advice with them. I would always talk to them. I'd always be pretty good about it, and like if I was going through like a struggle with a girl, like they would tell me what to respond with, and it was just they just like taught me how to look from like both perspectives of gender, which allowed me to like be more openly able to talk to girls just as well as guys.
How long was your first play date?
My first play date. My first play date was with a kid named Josh Anderson in kindergarten at Holy Trinity, which was a very Catholic school. And it was right after school. I walked to his house, and his mom made us sandwiches, and then we went to the park that was nearby, and they had this one zip line there, and we always went down it, and it was so much fun, I remember. And then we went back and ate, and then I went home. And it was a blast because he was like one of like my early on friends from when I just moved to Chicago. And it was a good time because it made it a lot easier to fit in.
When did you want your first car?
When did I get my first car?
When did you want your first car?
When did I want my first car? I was going to say I don't have my own car, but when I wanted my first car was when I was 14, because I have always been a pretty big car enthusiast, and I like to go to car shows and auto shows, and I remember seeing an Alfa Romeo C-Series that I was like, damn, dude, like, I want to have this car when I grow up. And that was it, yeah. And I wasn't really thinking about reality versus, like wants, but it's still a dream of mine to own that car.
Do you like when your high school has parties?
Yeah, I was a big fan of high school parties. You know, it was just basically a time for us kids who had to sit in school for 7 hours a day to just unwind over the weekend, and it was just fun because it was the same friends all the time, and we always could vibe with each other. And it was never like random people that we didn't rock with, you know, and like that's mad cool because it like shows how like you're always together with like the same people throughout your entity, and like also there's a difference between like just hanging out with your guys and going to a party because you see all these other guys that maybe you're just school friends with, and all these other guys that you're super chill with, but it's not like chill enough to be chilling with you and your boys, if you know what I mean. And you see all these girls too, and it was just a lot of fun. I miss it low-key, but college is better.
Why did you go to Hartwick?
I went to Hartwick because, for 3 good reasons. One, I could play soccer here, and playing soccer in college was a huge thing for me. You know, it's gonna help me stay on track with my grades. It looks really good on a resume. Builds so many good connections and networks. Keeps me in great shape, and it's just my favorite sport, and I just love it. Second reason I came here was for academic money, which was huge in choosing which colleges I wanted to go to. Harvard gave me the best one for my ACT score, GPA, and I'm really thankful for that, and that I didn't have to take out as many loans as I needed, which was amazing for me and my family. And third, my dad attended school at Hartwick. He played on the '83 soccer team, which isn't the national championship one, but he was an All-American here, and he did play in the national team. And there's kind of a legacy here with soccer in this town. New York has a pretty nice legacy of soccer overall, but in Oneonta, it's like one of the biggest. We also have the Soccer Hall of Fame in Oneonta, and it's just a big soccer town, and it's awesome.
How did your first date go?
My first date went a little like this. I took a girl to the movies. I think my mom drove us. And it was kind of awkward at first, you know, like I wasn't know if I was going to pull the slide, you know, like, whoa, that kind of thing. But I think I ended up doing it. And it was kind of awkward. It was like 7th grade, you know, like it's just weird, like still talking to girls and stuff. But I thought it went pretty well. There's a lot of learning experience I took away from that day. Still remember it was with a chick named Lauren, and I think it went fine. I mean, we kept chilling after. It couldn't have been that bad.
Do you remember your first goal?
In soccer?
Yes.
No. But I will tell you that I remember my first high school soccer goal, and it was a frickin' bambosa, man. Freshman year, we were losing 2-0. I'm coming down the sideline, and I was running on the left side, and I hit the weirdest shot with the inside of my right foot. And somehow it curled in near post, right under the goalie's arm because it was wet outside and it skipped. And me being the arrogant freshman I was, I run down the sideline of the crowd and started shushing everyone at a freshman soccer game. And it was just funny because everyone started laughing. Everyone was calling me like a dick. But honestly, it was just a rush of adrenaline for me. It was so much fun. Yeah.
why did you choose to play soccer?
I chose to play soccer because my dad originally brought me into it, and I was playing all these other sports like baseball, basketball, lacrosse for a little bit, but my parents always told me that soccer came first before those sports, and I just kind of stuck with that. And now I've played it for so long that I fell in love with it. And yeah, that's why. That's how I started. So basically I started for my dad pushing me. I always did dream about playing football though, but never got to that. I only played two-hand touch or flag football.
What did you learn from high school?
High school taught me a lot, now that I think about it. My high school prepared me pretty well for college, I would say. Yeah, I think that high school taught me a couple things. High school taught me that this is kind of like the last run with the people you'll be growing up with, because it's people from the same area as you. High school taught me to cherish the 4 years you have because they go by insanely fast. And starting over at college, I'm going to make sure that I take into account all 4 of these years and make them to the fullest. And high school taught me how to talk to girls low-key. Like, just, I don't know, just like the people I met, the advice I got, like, I don't know, just taught me how to talk to girls.
What's your favorite moment with food?
Oh, my favorite moment with food is on my birthday. I went to a Brazilian steakhouse in Puerto Rico in 2016. And it was one of those restaurants, you know, that they have like the green thing and the red thing. And like if you put on red, like they don't give you food, but if you put it on green, they like load your plate up with this meat and stuff. And the key for those is to never eat at the salad bar so you can fill up with the most meat. And I kept my thing on green for so long. I had some of the best meat ever, and it was so amazing. It was just made it better because it was my birthday. And it was a lot of fun. It was a great, great food moment.
Why do you like animals?
Well, I guess it remembers that you did notice that I mentioned I like animals. So, I am an animal fan because I think that they think the same way as humans do, but we just don't know. And I think that specifically dogs just have a way of knowing like human emotions and human faces. Because I have a dog back at home, and there would be times when my dog could tell that I was down in the dumps, and my dog would just come up and chill with me. And there would be times when my dog knew I was happy and wanted to play, and it's just, I don't know. I just feel like animals think just like us, and it's pretty fascinating. I believe that animals have the soul.
Why do you like EDM music?
I'm a pretty big rave junkie. I love EDM music because I think that the songs really can represent how you feel without the use of lyrics, just with the sounds of the different loops artists use, the different tracks that are spun, all the different vibrations and sounds and bass drops and everything can really formulate into one song. And it's just crazy how music can change our mood from good to bad, bad to worse, worse to great. And honestly, you don't need lyrics to be able to feel that mood change. And a good music taste, I believe, will take good note and beats and will be able to interpret what a song means without having to listen to lyrics. And also, I love EDM music because all EDM songs bring out a great vibe, and it's just happy times. I'm a big festival goer. I've been to 5 different music festivals. I'm a big EDM guy, and I can't wait to go back home this winter to see some more EDM concerts.
How did you feel about when your parents told you how they named you?
I felt that I was just the son of some pretty freaking creative people, you know. So I think I've told Frankie this story. I haven't told you guys though, and I got my name Edison because my father's name is Edward, and he decided to name me Edison because you take the Ed from Edward and I'm his son, so we put Ed and son together, and instead of naming me Edson, he decided to do Edison, like Thomas Edison. And then my middle name is Grover, and that refers to my dad was a musician like throughout all high school and a little bit of college to get some extra side cash, and his favorite jazz artist growing up was Grover Washington.
When did you get your first phone?
I had my first phone in 5th grade. It was a swipe up AT&T. I don't even know, man, but it was such a cool phone. I used up so many data chargers on like stupid games like Money Taxi, and I just remember it was so cool just texting people and like being able to communicate with people outside of class, and like it was still really funny texting people in 5th grade because people was like English still wasn't like that good, you know, and like we would always spell words wrong texting each other, and like we would always just like always shorten stuff, and I don't know, it was just really fun. I remember, and yeah, I think it was 5th grade. It was 5th grade I got my first phone. I wish I remember what it was called, but my sisters were obsessing over the Razor at the time too, so it might have been a Razor. I don't remember.
Why did you choose the classes you chose?
Well, going through my schedule, I chose Manhood Culture as my first year seminar because I was interested in learning about how I can connect masculinity to the business world and understanding positions and different traits that higher up positions such as CEOs, COOs, CFOs present in their firm, to learn how I can match those same trends of masculinity that they show and take it with me in my own success in the business world. And next, I took Intro to Business due to my major, which is a requirement. I also took Intro to Macroeconomics, another requirement. I chose Psychological Sciences because even though I may not be a major in the field of psychology, I still believe that it's really important because learning about psychology in the field of business is a huge thing. Understanding how other people work, understanding how to communicate with other human beings. And I have one more class called WIC 101, which is just learning all about Hardwick. And I couldn't choose it. It was a requirement. Yeah.
And last question. Why did you conduct this interview?
I conducted this interview because when you pulled me out of Commons, I realized that I was really doing nothing, and I felt the need to help someone out today, especially a young Frankie Addamo. And I knew that I could give you a good interview, and I wanted to help you out with your class. And I'm also particularly interested in